with the Targaryen faction under the belief that an alliance with the Lannisters was established. Queen Daenerys and the former king in the north, Jon Snow, traveled to Winterfell alongside her Dothraki and Unsullied armies, as well as the Hand of the Queen, Tyrion Lannister, the advisors, Varys, Jorah Mormont, Davos Seaworth, and Missandei, the Unsullied leader Grey Worm, and Gendry, Robert Baratheon's bastard son. Waiting for them in Winterfell was Bran, Sansa, and Arya Stark, as well as Brienne of Tarth, Sandor Clegane, and Podrick Payne. As Jon introduced Daenerys to Sansa, Bran interrupted to express the urgency over what they must discuss, informing them that the dragon Viserion now served the Night King, the wall fell, and the army of the dead was marching south. Holding a meeting with the Lords of the North and Vale, Sansa informed them that she summoned all their banners to Winterfell, where they will make their stand against the White Walkers. However, Lady Lyanna Mormont of Bear Island quickly changed the conversation to discuss the most pressing issue for many of those assembled, expressing outrage that Jon Snow abandoned his northern crown. Both Jon and Tyrion attempted to defend the decision, explaining that Daenerys was providing 2 armies and 2 dragons, which, in addition to the Lannister army, would help them survive the White Walker invasion. But it was not enough to appease them, with Sansa bringing up that additional people and dragons means their food stores will not last the winter. After the meeting, Sansa had her first conversation with Tyrion since Joffrey's wedding, making it clear she does not believe Queen Cersei will live up to her part of the agreement, while Jon embraced Arya near the family heart tree, seeing her for the first time since he joined the Night's Watch all those years ago. Speaking privately, Varys, Davos, and Tyrion explored the idea of a marriage between Jon and Daenerys to secure the Seven Kingdoms under just and honorable rulers. Meanwhile, Daenerys grew concerned about the scarcity of game in the north, as it left her dragons underfed, but she soon became content once more when Jon Snow mounted her dragon Rhaegal, joining her on a short journey to a nearby waterfall, allowing her to fly through the air with another dragon rider for the first time in her life. Having trained to be a blacksmith, Gendry led the effort to make dragonglass weapons for use against the White Walkers. A skilled craftsman, Gendry made a dragonglass axe for the Hound Sandor Clegane, and was commissioned by his old friend Arya Stark to create a special weapon she desired. Back inside the castle, Jon Snow was surprised to learn their vassals in House Glover would not join the war effort, but Sansa explained that it was because they swore an oath to the King in the North, a title Jon no longer held. With her discontent over the entire situation plain to see, they argued about the consequences of abandoning his crown, with Sansa asking whether he bent the knee to protect the North, or because he was in love with Daenerys. The Targaryen queen then went to see Samwell Tarly, hoping to reward him for saving the life of her friend and advisor Jorah Mormont. However, the conversation took an unexpected turn when she learned he was a Tarly and informed him that she executed his father and brother for refusing to bend the knee. Though Sam might have accepted the loss of his abusive father, the death of his brother broke his heart, leaving him in tears when he encountered Bran moments later in the courtyard. The new Three-Eyed Raven said the time had come to reveal the truth to Jon Snow, and it was up to Sam to see it done. Still in pain and angry over the death of his family members, he went to see Jon Snow in the crypts of Winterfell, revealing the truth about his mother Lyanna Stark and father Rhaegar Targaryen, explaining that his true name was Aegon Targaryen, 6th of his name, true heir to the Iron Throne. Since Rhaegar was Dany's older brother, the laws of Westeros and Targaryen tradition meant Jon Snow was ahead of her in the line of succession. Shocked and in disbelief at the revelation, Jon at first refused to betray the queen, but Sam made it clear it was not treason but simply the truth, and questioned whether Daenerys really cared about the people of Westeros, or whether she merely wanted to be the queen at any cost. After all, Jon was willing to give up his crown for the sake of his people. Would Daenerys do the same? Having rode north after abandoning his sister Cersei, Jaime Lannister arrived in Winterfell to find Bran Stark waiting for him in the castle courtyard, their first time seeing each other since he pushed the boy from a tower window and left him disabled. After the collapse of the Wall and invasion of the White Walkers, the Night's Watchmen from Eastwatch by the Sea, led by Tormund Giantsbane and Beric Dondarrion, retreated south to Winterfell, stopping at Last Hearth along the way, the ancestral seat of House Umber. Yet once arrived, they found no one alive except Dolorous Edd and the Night's Watchmen from Castle Black, who were also riding south to join Jon Snow's army. Edd then led the others to the Lord's Hall, where they found young Ned Umber impaled and pinned to a wall in a ritualistic pattern. Believing it a message from the Night King, not only did this mean the forces of House Umber were part of the enemy army, but also that their journey would be perilous, as the White Walkers now stood between them and Winterfell. Far to the south, in the capital of King's Landing, Qyburn informed Queen Cersei that the White Walkers broke through the wall, but she received the news gladly, as Euron Greyjoy had at last arrived with the 20,000 warriors and 2,000 horses of the Golden Company, a mercenary group from Essos, with a reputation for never breaking a contract. Euron, having given Cersei vengeance for the death of her daughter, the Iron Fleet, and now an army, made it clear he needed more than the promise of an eventual marriage to be content, and so the Queen brought him into her bedchamber, where he promised to put a prince in her belly. Learning that Sir Bronn of the Blackwater, a companion of her brother's, was still in King's Landing, the Queen sent Qyburn to secure his loyalty, giving him several chests of gold, along with the crossbow used to kill Tywin Lannister, offering a great reward for the deaths of Tyrion and Jaime. While Euron conducted his affairs in the capital, his nephew Theon led a stealth mission onto the flagship of the Iron Fleet to rescue his sister and Queen Yara Greyjoy. Commandeering a number of Euron's ships, Yara planned to take advantage of his absence and reclaim the Iron Islands, thereby securing a place of retreat for Daenerys, while Theon was permitted to return to Winterfell and fight for the Starks in the Great War. Love Game of Thrones? Then be sure to check out the new book, The Thrones Effect, written by a number of respected A Song of Ice and Fire YouTubers, including GOT Academy, Because Geek, Secrets of the Citadel, Grey Area, Ideas of Ice and Fire, History of Westeros, and Smokescreen, with Chapter 5, titled Eye of the Beholder, written by CivilizationEx, exploring the various ways the characters can be interpreted, as well as how the audience reacted to their decisions. If interested, click on the link in the description box below, where The Thrones Effect is currently available as an ebook, while the physical copy and audiobook will be released soon. A special thanks to all those who contribute to CivilizationEx, like Midori Senin, Jake the Red Fury, Barian the Soft Bastard Beesbury, and Hayaki Snowbeard. If you'd like to help CivilizationEx, click on the Patreon link, and please be sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and click on the links to see more.